Anxiety is something that everybody experiences at various points in their life. And feeling anxious is actually a perfectly natural reaction to many situations in life. But sometimes feelings of anxiety can be constant, overwhelming, or out of proportion to our current situation, and this can affect our daily lives. Thankfully, there are plenty of things we can do to help try and cope with anxiety. And there's also a specific things that we can do to help look after our mental health and well-being if we're feeling worried or anxious about the coronavirus. But firstly, what is anxiety? Well, anxiety is a feeling of unease, like a worry or a fear that can be mild or severe. Everyone feels anxious from time to time, and it usually passes once the situation is over. It can make our heart race. We might feel sweaty or shaky or short of breath. Anxiety can also cause changes in our behaviour, such as becoming overly careful or avoiding things that trigger our anxiety. But when anxiety becomes a problem, our worries can be out of proportion with relatively harmless situations. And it can feel more intense and overwhelming and interfere with our everyday lives and relationships. This short video aims to provide just a few tips of how we can try and cope and deal with anxiety. But if your anxiety is affecting your daily life and causing you distress, then we should always consider seeking further support. This is a really mature thing to do. In the meantime, here are some things that might help you cope with anxiety. Number one is track your anxiety. Perhaps you could try keeping a diary of what you're doing or how you feel at certain points of the day. This might help identify what's affecting you or when you struggle most, and thus what to take possible action on. Number two is challenge your anxiety. Tackling unhelpful or anxious thoughts is one of the best things we can do to feel less anxious. This is something you might be shown or introduced to from a counsellor. It is often demonstrated in CBT, which is cognitive behavioural therapy. Now, there are a number of different models you can use to challenge and reframe your thoughts and mindset. This video is not going to go into detail of those, but check out the video in the link in the bio below to see a whole separate video addressing this exact area of challenging our anxiety and reframing our unhelpful thoughts. So the first thing was track your anxiety, the second thing was challenge your anxiety, and the third thing is face your anxiety. It's so easy, isn't it, to avoid certain situations or rely on habits that make us feel safer. But in fact, this avoidance can often prolong our anxiety and keep it going. Sometimes it can even feed and intensify our anxiety. But by slowly building up time and confidence in worrying situations, anxious feelings will gradually reduce. And we will see that the situations we're in are actually okay and that they're far more manageable. So there's 3 ways to encourage you when trying to cope with anxiety. Track your anxiety, challenge your anxiety, and face your anxiety. Now, of course, these things are very general. We all experience anxiety on a number of different levels. And disclaimer, I am in no way a professional in this area. But if anxiety is something that you are struggling with, then please get in touch. And remember, seeking further help is not admitting defeat, it is showing breakthrough.